Hey team, happy December. Our first signal of the month is on Euro Kiwi. We're going to start this analysis on the monthly as usual. Alright, so we're zoomed pretty far out on the monthly. We just want to understand flow. Here we see a strong push to the downside. Price is now in consolidation. That's all I really want to see from this far out, so let's take a deeper dive. Taking a closer look at consolidation, the first thing I notice is sell sensitivity. I notice buy sensitivity. I also notice higher highs. So let's identify our trend lines and our upper and lower zone. After identifying our zones, sell sensitivity becomes very clear, buy sensitivity becomes very clear as well. Taking a look at more recent higher time frame movement, here we see that push to its upper zone. We see our first impulse move to the downside. This is expected. This is sell sensitivity. However, this is only confirmation one. Price tried to break to the upside one more time. We see some nice pin bars, a strong move back down. Sellers have control over the market. Second wave of sellers hit the market. This is confirmation two. Price moved quite a range without any type of exhaustion, breaking past previous area sensitivity. So let's take a closer look. Okay, we've taken it down to the weekly, and every time we take it down a time frame, we're always trying to identify area sensitivity. So what is area sensitivity on the weekly? Well, here we see some sell sensitivity turning into buy sensitivity. So this is our mid-range zone. We see higher highs, so we can identify our up. So now we're taking a little bit of a closer look. Here we see confirmation one, here we see confirmation two. So fundamentally, what do we know? After a push, there's always an exhaustion, and exhaustion will usually begin at area of sensitivity. So here we see a strong push off our upper zone. Where would we believe exhaustion would begin? That's right, at our mid-range zone. Now, price did not come back for exhaustion. All the buy limit orders got stopped out, which is why we only enter on price action confirmation. So this move is giving me a lot of information. Now, what is that? We know that price was supposed to come back for an exhaustion, but it didn't. Price broke straight to the downside. This tells me that not only do bears have strong control over the market, but we're likely going to make our way down to our lower zone. What else do we know? Well, we're only looking for short entries. So let's do just that and look for an entry short. Taking it down another time frame. Now, we're going to talk shortly about our entry short, but here's a good example on why we wouldn't have an entry long on this exhaustion. So price made its way down to its mid-range zone where we believed price was going to come back for exhaustion. Here we see our first bullish engulfing candle. This is our first impulse move. This is confirmation one. But what do I always tell you? We need to wait for confirmation two, especially on any higher time frame change in direction. So here we have confirmation one. Price came back to retest for confirmation two. Do we see a second bullish engulfing candle? No, we don't. We did not enter this trade. Price moved to the downside. Now we're looking for a short. And I tell you this because this is a perfect example of a non-entry. This is confirmation one. We did not see confirmation two, which is why we did not go long. And now we're looking short. Okay, back to our entry short. Price broke its mid-range zone to the downside, telling us that sellers have control over the market and we're only looking short. Any break of a significant area is considered a push. Now, what's after a push? That's right, an exhaustion. Where do winners enter on a trade? At completion of exhaustion. Where do losers enter on a trade? At a completion of a push. Here we see a push. All the losers will be entering right now. Us winners will be waiting for an exhaustion to our mid-range zone before heading to the downside. Okay, so let's talk about entry one. This is what I require to enter a trade. Here's our push breaking our mid-range zone. This is a significant move, which is why this is a push. We're going to stay patient, wait for the push to complete and exhaustion to begin. We're going to wait for completion of exhaustion because that's where winners enter. We're then going to wait for completion of exhaustion to retest not only its mid-range zone, but also its downtrend, where then we'll see our next wave of sell sensitivity. We're waiting for price action confirmation before an entry to the downside. That's a bearish engulfing candle or significant bearish pin bar. When you receive my signal, it's going to look like this. This is on the 4-hour time frame. Now, let me make this clear. If you're looking for entry on the 4-hour time frame, you must wait for double confirmation. So in simplicity, we're waiting for the completion of this push. We're then going to wait for completion of exhaustion. We're looking for price action confirmation to send us to the downside. TP1 at mid-range zone, TP2 at bottom zone. SL is above our downtrend and above our mid-range zone so that if price comes against us, there is some sell sensitivity to protect us. Now, there's only two scenarios that would make this trade invalid. Scenario one, if price comes back for exhaustion, does not find price action confirmation, but continues to the upside and breaks its mid-range zone and its downtrade to the upside, this trade becomes invalid because that confirms there's not enough sell sensitivity for a continuational push to the downside. The second scenario that would make this trade invalid is if price does not come back for exhaustion. If price just continues to the downside, this is a no entry because risk reward becomes less than optimal.